Hello, my name is Lindy Cowling and welcome to my channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. My email is info@lindycowling.co.uk. And the title of this short video is The Return of the Bubble. I hesitated then because I was really drawn to doing dramatic 1950s or 1960s music, because that title, The Return of the Bubble, sounds a bit like a kind of crappy B movie, one of those black and white movies that are really, they were great in their time, but The Return of the Bubble, like this giant great thing lolloping over skyscrapers. Anyway, I've digressed. So the return of the bubble. So what do we mean by the bubble? When you have ignition with a spiritual connection, this is a connection that connects fully with your spirit, so spirit to spirit, heart to heart, soul to soul. And as I always say, the heart is the voice box of the soul, so heart to heart, soul to soul, spirit to spirit. You have the capacity to experience a vastly heightened state of awareness, which is often referred to as bliss. And actually the word bliss is the having experienced it is the closest I can come to it. So during this bubble that occurs not only with twin flames but also with soul connections, what I term ascensionary soulmates can have this too. The new paradigm of relationships, partnerships that are forming that connect at a base level, minimal level of 5D can also experience that. It's also important for me to say that it does not necessarily have to be experienced with another being, which means you can experience the bliss bubble. Maybe I should term it as the bliss bubble. You can experience that without the connection of another spiritual amplifier, another spirit mirror, another matching frequency. You can get that through matching your frequency with someone outside of being a human. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you are someone that is really wired into earth, to nature, to mountains, to scenery, you could be sitting, you know, at the top of the Grand Canyon, really resonating with that energy and experience huge heightened energy, a state of bliss, a state of harmony, everything being very bright, overwhelming feeling of love, joy, overwhelming feeling of being connected with everything, a huge perception and alteration to your consciousness. You can experience that in circumstances like that, or well, there's no limitations on this really. So you can experience the bliss bubble in all of these circumstances. They are not limited in any way, shape or form to a spiritual connection with someone. Although when you are connecting at 5-dimensional levels, that is the level of spirit, the spirit essence you are, 5-dimensional levels and up, then yes, that is part of the process often. Now, when I say often, sometimes catalysts that come into your life that are 5D catalysts, whether they are the darker element of the spectrum or the lighter element of the spectrum, you can also experience that intensified increase in frequency and vibration, and also experience some of the amazing things I just said, where it almost seems surreal, you know, hearts are going crazy. So catalysts can also, you know, high powers catalysts, you know, can also bring about those feelings as well. This is where it can get quite confusing to people, because in some ways the perception was that can only be experienced by those within the twin flame union, and in fact that isn't true. And it isn't true because I'm working with people in different walks of life, in different circumstances, that are experiencing bubble bliss. That sounds like, I should market that. I've got this image of this really large pink bottle of bubble bliss. Pour it in your bath. I just can see it in my head really clearly here. I'm deviating again, digressing again. So what I'm seeing in clients, and don't forget, I don't just see it, I feel it. I also feel it. So I feel the energy, and I hear, then feel the vibration and the frequency of it. So in those that are being birthed, hatched out into the new blueprints, the new templates, those that I have kind of nicknamed, to give them a name, Ascensionary Soulmates, which have a more harmonious frequency to them than any other connection I've seen, including the twin flame union. They've got a signature on them which is really like harmony, because they're here for a different purpose, their relationship templated. Those that fall in that category, I'm starting to see in 4 or 5 cases now, very recently, where they have re-entered and they are re-experiencing the bliss bubble, the bubble. Again, let me backtrack. The bubble. This occurs most often when you are accessing a state of the frequency, the feeling of bliss. If you ask me to define bliss, I'll try and describe it having experienced it and lived it. I can only use the language that I have and that we have. A state of peaceful joy, a state of absolute magic, a state of realizing that Santa Claus was real, that Harry Potter was real, that everything is underlined and is underlaid with a wonderful feeling of peace, of love, of happiness, of celebration. It's hard to find the words. It's exciting, and yet when you're in it, that's not the word that would come to you. I used to use an expression when I was experiencing that at its highest, and I can still experience that And I'm experiencing it a lot now outside of a spiritual connection with somebody. This is important for me to say. I'm not needing someone opposite me to experience that. But what I can tell you is, when it first happened to me, and it literally, you know, went through the roof. When it first happened to me, the connection I was with, known as a twin flame, would say, if we passed away, if we died now, we know that it couldn't get any better than this. And we were not talking about our circumstances, which were actually physically excruciating. We were talking about all of what I just tried to put into words. The feeling you are illuminated, you are lit up, more than glowing. Everything is very bright. Your sense of hearing is off the charts. Your senses are hugely heightened. You experience and feel the energy as if you were in the consciousness of the tree, in the rock, in the sea, in the river, in the sand, in the soil. You are able to access that level of consciousness too, and the overwhelming feeling is just huge expansion of your energy field, of your heart, of your perception. You see through and hear through and breathe through and embody the state of heart. So this is what it is. And it's important to define this. I want to define it because, A, I'm seeing it in clients that are re-experiencing it, and I can feel it through them, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It has a signature of purity across it. It has a sound, a feeling of purity across it, within it, embedded within it. And so they are experience this, and they just feel joyful, and they feel expanded, and they feel like they can kind of literally walk on water. They just feel amazing. And it's a state of consciousness. And they are from all walks of life, all different circumstances. Not one of those I have named are actually with their spiritual partner. Whether they are ascensionary soulmates or not, they're not with them. They may be around them, in contact with them, in friendship with them, working with them, on the perimeters of one another's lives because of certain circumstances, but they have accessed that state again. It's the return of the bubble. It's that bubble bliss. So it's happening, and it's not restricted to the twin flame union. The twin flame union, in terms of rewriting the relationship paradigm, were the forerunners, one of the forerunners for this. Not the only forerunner for it, one of them. So it is happening. It's happening across what we consider relationships and partnerships. It's starting to happen. It's starting to actually happen, and it's returning. And I can feel it, the clients can feel it, and they are experiencing it again, and they feel absolutely wonderful. Now, the point I'm going to make again is they are experiencing it, and they're not all even in contact with one another, and they're experiencing it again. To a certain degree, I am also experiencing it again, and I'm not with a partner. So again, I'm going to use the example of the rock climber, the hiker, sitting on a large rock looking out across the Grand Canyon, all on his own. His heart is expanded. He can feel the Grand Canyon. He can hear the Grand Canyon. He can smell the Grand Canyon. He can feel the sun. He can see the birds. He can hear the birds. He's breathing in the energy. He is connected with the energy. He feels his heart expand. He feels alive. Everything is bright. All the colours are accentuated. His sense of hearing is heightened. He feels overwhelming peace, overwhelming joy. He doesn't even have the words for what he's feeling. Is there a partner with him? Is there a woman with him? Is there a man with him? Is there anybody with him that is reflecting that back, the bliss bubble back to him? No, and yet he's still experiencing it. That's still his entry point to bliss. This is terribly, terribly exciting because it's part of our evolution on this planet. For those of you that have experienced this bliss, this bubble of bliss, this ignition with someone else, you've probably gone through a period of time, and you probably will go through a period of time where you think that experience was the pinnacle, and you will think, I will never experience that again. And if it is ever to happen to me again, it will have to happen with somebody triggering me to experiencing it again. I am so happy to say that you couldn't be more wrong. You can totally, absolutely and categorically experience it again, and you will so recognize it because you've experienced it before in a multitude of circumstances, whether that is with a compatible frequency, a compatible vibration, a compatible soul connection with you, or whether that is in other natural circumstances, such as what I've just said. You can experience that, and it's not reliance necessarily on an outside trigger with another person. It's all about the frequency and the vibration. It's all about your frequency and vibration. And so I'll wrap this up by saying the bubble is back. The bubble's back. It's back. And I can tell you it is there. People are experiencing it. People are experiencing it in connection with others or not in connection with others, because the bliss bubble is a rate of frequency, a rate of vibration, and as people are accessing these expanded and elevated rates of vibration, they are going to be able to experience the bliss bubble. And on that note, I will love you and leave you. Signing off until we meet again. Thank you so much for watching. From my heart to yours. Bye bye.